Do you want to get into reading but have no idea where to start? Well, lucky for you, I love to read and I'm going to give you my favorite authors, my favorite books, and my favorite books by my favorite authors. Let's get started! First, we're going to start off with my favorite author of all time, Anne Liang. These are the 3 books that she has written that I have read. I need to read every single one of her books, so first we have I Hope This Doesn't Find You, and this is about Sadie Wen and Julius. I forgot his last name. Julius Gong, okay? I kind of had an idea. Julius Gong. And they are academic rivals. Yes. Now, Sadie, perfectionist, she wants to beat Julius and everything because, duh, they're academic rivals. The thing is, it's a struggle. Okay, they have a constant back and forth because every time she one-ups him, he two-ups her. So she's like,
I'm about to beat this bitch up.
but, Sadie, she kind of has some anger problems, and to relieve these, she writes anger emails, but she never sends them. She just writes them, saves them as a draft, and then goes on with her day. But one day, somehow, those emails get sent out to the entire school. And Sadie is like, oh my gosh, I'm cooked because like 873,000 of those emails are about Julius. So naturally, she's like, okay, he's gonna hate my guts. Like, this is my downfall. This is it. But actually, he's like, wait, why'd you write so many about me though? And it is so cute. And it's so nice to see the characters develop. And there is actually a second book about them, which I need to read because it's from both POVs. And I want to learn more about Julius, but this is super good, no spice, super sweet, super wholesome. I absolutely love this. This was the first book that I read from her, and I was smitten. I was like, okay, yeah, give me 3,000 more. The next book is This Time It's Real, and this is about, I actually have to look, Eliza and Kaz. So Kaz is an actor, and Eliza is a writer. And one day for her college scholarship, she wrote this little essay about a relationship, and it was so sweet, and it actually got super popular. Like, people were eating this up. They're like, oh my gosh, my dream relationship, I wish this was me. And Eliza's like, oh no, because that story was completely fabricated. She does not have a boyfriend. In fact, she's never dated anyone, period. So this essay was just completely based off of her imagination. And she's like, well, yikes. Now, Kaz, if I remember correctly, he's like having some issues in the media world. So he's like, okay, you know what? What if we date and I get this like super cool boyfriend rep and everyone's gonna think I'm so sweet and awesome because I'm a great boyfriend? And Eliza's like, fine. So they start fake dating. But of course, things get messy, feelings get involved, and they fall for each other. So we have to find out if they will end up together or not. Okay, the last book that I have is If You Could See the Sun. This one is about Alice's son and Henry. I don't remember much about this, to be honest, but I do remember that Alice goes to this super high class school that you have to pay for, but she is there on scholarship. So she has to do good in order to keep this scholarship. So she's trying her best to be top student, but it's another academic rival to lovers. Yup. I don't know if you can tell, but I can tell that Anne loves her academic rivals. And girls, so do I. So if you like academic rivals to lovers, Anne is for you, girl. Anne is for you. Since I don't really remember much of this book, I'm just going to read the synopsis for you guys. Okay. No secret is safe. Alice's son has always felt invisible at her elite Beijing International Boarding School, where she's the only scholarship student in a sea of uber-wealthy classmates. But she has a plan to be top of the class, attend a prestigious university, secure a killer job, and finally lift her family out of poverty. Then her parents drop a bomb. They can no longer afford her tuition, even with the scholarship. But that's the least of Alice's problems, because she has started uncontrollably turning visible. Oh, invisible, sorry. As in completely, physically invisible. Alice realizes her strange new power comes with unparalleled access to the secrets of China's most rich and influential teens. Soon, Alice has a new plan. Offer her invisibility services to find out what her classmates want to know for a price. But between balancing schoolwork, a growing relationship with academic rival turned business partner Henry, and stealing secrets, things start to fall through the cracks. As the tasks escalate, from petty scandals to actual crimes, Alice must decide if helping her family is worth losing her conscience or even her life.
Yeah.
Okay, the next author that we're gonna talk about is my second favorite, Lynn Painter. Yep. And I don't mean to brag, but I did meet her and she did sign my book and she also complimented my name and my backpack. So I just gotta shut that off a little. Yeah, yeah. So, but anyways, we have 3 books from her as well. We have Better Than the Movies, which is about Wes and Liz, and they are enemies to lovers. They are next door neighbors, and Wes and Liz tease each other unrelentlessly. They've known each other since kids, and yeah. So Liz is like, oh my gosh, this annoying butthead. He's so annoying. He never shuts up. He's always making fun of me. He's always stealing my parking spot. And Wes, you know, thinks slightly the opposite. And we find this out because Liz is a bit of a hopeless romantic. You know, she loves love. She has music playlists just set around love, and she's just a little hopeless romantic girly. And then her childhood crush comes back into town is attending her school. The only problem is she thinks that he thinks she is totally lame. So she's like, Wes, please, I need you to fake date me. And he's like, okay. And they we have a little makeover montage where Wes is trying to make Liz look cool. She's trying to go on these dates with this guy. I'm not gonna lie, I forgot his name. Oh, Michael. Michael. And Wes is getting jealous because he has been in love with Liz for years. And feelings get mixed up and the pot is stirring. Okay, we don't know if they end up together. Just kidding. We do find out. But I'm not going to tell you guys. You should definitely read this. Again, no spice. Completely sweet. Very wholesome. Very funny. Love. Obsessed. Next, we have Betting on You. This is about Nick and Charlie. Yeah. Oh no. Bailey and Charlie. Oopsie. I was thinking of Heartstopper. This book is about Bailey and Charlie. And Charlie's parents are divorced. And he hates his mom's boyfriend, I think. If I'm no, maybe it's his dad's girlfriend. I don't remember who he hates, but he doesn't mess with it, okay? And Bailey, her parents are also divorcing, but it's kind of fresh at the beginning of the book. So this book goes through different times in their life, and they meet in an airport because at this point Bailey's parents have just gotten divorced and she's like, no, they're gonna get back together, they're gonna live happily ever after. And Charlie's like, huh, yeah, sure, that's what we all thought. And she's like, you little jack. So they talk a little bit on the plane, and Bailey's like, you know what, I can be my true self. I can be a little rude because I'm never gonna see this guy again. We're just on a plane. This is the first time, last time seeing him. So she lets her real personality get out. And then a few months later, she sees him again at the movie theater. And she's like, oh my gosh, dang it. But they're both dating people. But they're still a little attracted to each other. Yeah. So they keep running into each other and they're like, okay, Well, we have to do something about this. I guess we'll be friends for now. And so they decide to be friends and they start opening up to each other. You know, they tell each other about their divorced parents and how life has been. And Bailey is still at the point where she's like, okay, I don't like my mom's boyfriend. I want them to break up. And so Charlie is like, all right, girl, I got you. Let's start fake dating. And again, of course, things get messy. And you gotta find out what happens. And last but definitely not least, we have the do-over. This is about Emily and Nick. And what happens here is Emily loves Valentine's Day and she is very type A. She has a list of everything she's going to do on Valentine's Day. And one of those things is saying I love you to her boyfriend for the first time. Because that's so romantic. Until she finds out that he's cheating on her. Yeah. And so, worst day of her life, does not like Valentine's Day anymore. She's like, okay, you know what? Tomorrow, it's a new day. Just gonna get through this. Except tomorrow, it's Valentine's Day. Again. So Emily is very confused because she's like, what's going on? Oh, you know what? Maybe yesterday was a dream and today is the real Valentine's Day. Except it's not. She's actually in a repetition of Valentine's Day to make it one of her best ones. So she meets Nick. And Nick is very like bad boy. He's very, ooh, we don't care about the rules, but he's got a dark side, you know, he's got a deep dark secret. He's actually secretly emotional and does have feelings. And so they fall in love. It's actually very, very cute. I love it so much. And I really like this because I love when authors do this. There's little confessions here. And later in the book, you find out what that means. And it is just so nice to like be paying attention and then get rewarded for paying attention. I love it so much. Amazing. Okay, this next author that we're going to talk about is my new favorite, Sarah Adams. Yes, ma'am. So these are actually the first books that I've tabbed. And as you can tell, a lot of thoughts, okay? I did read When in Rome, but I don't have it physically, unfortunately. But I don't even know where to start. Okay, let's start with Practice Makes Perfect, which is my favorite book at the very moment. It's about Annie and Will, and Annie is known as the town's golden girl. She's super sweet, super kind, Angel Annie. That's been her nickname for years since she was very little. And honestly, she's growing kind of sick of it because it makes her feel terrible. It makes her feel like no one sees me as the adult that I am. No one takes me seriously. And they just think I'm Angel Annie. And she's so sick of this nickname because she's like, that's not who I am anymore. And also, when in Rome, we find out that Annie, Noah, Emily, and Madison's, which are the siblings, their parents passed. So we find out like all their different grieving styles, and I just love how Sarah writes their different grieving. It's so beautiful and it's just so amazing to see. So for Annie, because she's the youngest, she didn't know her parents very well. So she's like, I have no right to be sad about them. I didn't know them that well. So instead, she just was Miss Sunshine, super happy, didn't talk about her parents a lot to help her grieving siblings. This later does affect her though, and it's just so amazing to see her open up to her siblings and finally reveal the truth about her. Now, Annie falls for Mr. Will Griffin. Okay, Will Griff? I forgot his name. Will. And he is the complete opposite. He's known as the bad boy. He's got tattoos. He's a bodyguard. He's actually her sister-in-law's bodyguard. So, yeah. And Amelia, which is her sister-in-law, a character from When in Rome, she's like, girl, I got you. You want to learn about dating? You should take lessons from my bodyguard. Hey. And Annie's like, no. And Will is like, no. But then a little something happens, and they're like, okay, fine, let's do it. So they start getting Annie starts getting these lessons from Will. And of course, real feelings get involved. And it's really, really interesting because Will is scared of commitment because he comes from a broken family. His parents never got divorced, but it was a super duper toxic marriage. They were constantly fighting, and he's the oldest. So he felt the need to protect his younger brother from his parents fighting. So he would always be distracting his brother, and just pretending that their parents aren't there. And he doesn't have a very good relationship with marriage because he's scared that he might end up like his parents, and he doesn't want to end up like that. Meanwhile, Annie loves the idea of marriage. She knows that her parents' marriage was so sweet and fun and full of love, and she just wants to find something like that. But towards the end of the book, these roles kind of reverse, and it is so, so cute to see. I love it. This is one of my favorite books. And more recently, I finished reading Beg, Borrow, or Steal. This is about Emily and Jack Bennett. Emily and Jack. So Emily is the oldest sister of the Walker siblings. So she's the sister of Annie. And Emily is a perfectionist. She is the big sister. Even though she's not the oldest, she's the oldest sister. And when her parents passed, she kind of took on this role of being a mother. Even for Noah, she had to kind of nurture him. And so she put her feelings on the back burner of everything because she was like, everyone needs me. But when people start getting their own lives and they just don't need her as much, she starts to feel empty and lonely because she's like, now I'm useless. No one needs me. So what do I do now? Her whole life she spent worrying about people, taking care of people. Now she doesn't have to do that. And while she's happy for her siblings, she feels lonely. She doesn't have them anymore. So that's where Mr. Jack comes in. Yep. Yep. So Jack is her nemesis, her rival. They met in college and it made quite the first impression. He spilled coffee on her shirt first day of college. And he stole her seat. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, what a great first impression. Yeah. And so they become nemesis ever since. They have this back and forth thing where Emily does something, he'll join to one up her. Jack does something, Emily will do that, but better. And they actually have this little secret romance thing going on. At the very beginning of the book starts off with an email, which, by the way, totally reminds me of You've Got Mail. Every time I read the email, I just thought of You Got Mail. Love it. It was so good. Ate it up. But Jack actually moves in next door to Emily, and she's like, at first, yeah, at first. But then they start, learning more about each other. They start becoming friends until they start becoming something a little more. And it gets very messy, and it was so good to read. Love it. Oh, also, I should mention, Sarah Adams writes more of a closed door romance, which means that there are some intimate scenes, but they don't go into great detail. So there is, I don't even want to say there's spice because there's not, but there's just some insinuations. So do keep that in mind. Again, it doesn't go into detail, but do keep that in mind. A little quick wild rapid fire of these. This is flipped by Wendelin Van Drunen. Oh god. This is about Julie Baker and Bryce Losky. Julie has had the biggest crush on Bryce for years. Literally since the first day they met, she's been hopelessly devoted to him. Get it? Okay, anyways. But then she starts growing and learning more about people. Julie's very observant and she's just not like other kids, she's very different. And she starts to realize, you know what? Bryce is not all that. Meanwhile, Bryce has not really felt much for Julie. He's like, this girl is creepy. She be watching me. I don't like her. She's not for me. But then he starts to realize some things. And he's like, wait, she's actually like the most genuine person I've ever met. And he starts to fall for her So it's really, really cute. It's a super short, easy read. So if you want a romance, super short, super easy to digest, super fluffy, this is for you. It's so cute. I'm obsessed. I've actually I highlighted it, some quotes. Super cute. Definitely recommend. Okay, the next one is Picking Daisies on Sundays. Oh, Picking Daisies on Sundays by Liana Sincotti. This is such a good book, and I feel like it is severely underrated. In fact, this author in general, I just feel like she is so underrated. This is such a cute book. This is about Daisy and Levi. Yeah. Well, Daniela, Daisy. She mostly goes by Daisy. And she is a fashion student. She sews clothes. She's awesome. She makes clothing, and she has her childhood best friend. Yep, childhood best friend Levi, and he is into literature. Yes, literature. She teaches it actually. Very fine, very fine. But we find out that Daisy used to like him, but she stopped liking him because she was like, he's not into me. I confessed to him, and he completely ignored me. And then we find out Levi didn't know this. He was like, "What? You confess? When? When? Because me too. I've been in love with you." And actually, again, she does this thing where every chapter there's a little something something, and that becomes very important. And this is just so cute. Again, super duper fluffy. I'm obsessed with it. You guys should definitely read it. Like, if any of these books, this one, show this author some love. It's a great book. And actually, she self published this book, which is awesome. Like, oh my gosh, that is so amazing. And this is making me hopeful that one day I can also self publish a book. The last romance book that I have is The Summer of Broken Rose by K.L. Walther. Meredith recently lost her oldest sister, Claire, and she has been struggling immensely because they were best friends, you know? Claire was her everything, and she's just been feeling kind of lost and empty without her. So she comes back to their little summer town to bring back some traditions, celebrate her family and her friends, and then she meets Wes. And we find out some things about Wes, and it's very interesting. And the whole book kind of surrounds this water gun fight. Her cousin is getting married, and Claire loved what do they call? Oh, assassin. It's assassin, but with water guns. So the cousin is like, in honor of Claire, we're gonna play assassin, and whoever wins gets a little reward. And so Wes and Meredith team up. They're like, hey, let's be alliances. But things get a little messy because she's also alliances with her friends. And she's like, I didn't talk to my friends after Claire passed, and there's just a bunch of reasons. And it's a really good, pretty book. I loved it. The first series I'm going to talk about is the Shatter Me series by Tahira Mafi. Oh my goodness. I'm not going to talk about every single book because there's so many of them, but the overall premise of this is Juliet Perez has a lethal touch. And by lethal, I mean that anything and everything she touches will die. And because of that, she's been locked up in this cell going insane until she meets Aaron Warner. Hey, hey. And the series basically just goes through them falling in love, fighting the reestablishment, which is the wait, no, I think actually I don't remember, but they fight the bad people. Things go down, and it is just beautifully written. The characters, I love them so much. Kenji, I love him. He's literally me. It's just beautiful, and you guys should definitely read this series. I love it so much. The next series that I will be talking about is the Powerless series by Lauren Roberts. This is a trilogy. I actually do have the third book, but I'm currently reading it. So we're talking about Powerless and Reckless. And again, because this is a series, I'm not going to talk about both books separately. I'm just going to say the overall premise. So we follow Peyton and Kai. Yeah. Peyton. Oh, okay. Actually, I should say in this world, there are people who have powers, and they are known as elites or enforcers. Elites are higher ranked people. They have like super, super good powers, I guess you should say. Um, and there are ordinaries, which are not liked. In fact, they are getting either sent away from the world or the land. I forgot what it's called, but they're either sent away from the land or they're getting by Kai because he is the king's son. And enforcer, he's, well, it's his job to the ordinaries. But Peyton's dad taught her how to fake having power. And so she gets herself into some trouble. And there's this trial competition where they are put into just an ongoing fight. Essentially, it's kind of like Hunger Games. And Peyton is entered into this fight. So in this book, we follow her going through everything. And in this book, it takes after the fight. And guys, it's crazy. I love it though. Like, it's amazing. I love the characters. The writing is so good. Like, oh my gosh. And Lauren Roberts is so young. And fun fact, she actually did self publish this book, but then a publisher found it, loved it, and they started publishing it. So, yeah, super cool. Love it. Also, I should say those are romantasy. There's also zero spice in them. I actually think every book that I'm suggesting has no spice. So, yeah. Okay, the next series we're talking about is the Folk of Air series, which is The Crow Prince, The Wicked King, and The Queen of Nothing. Again, I do have that book, I just haven't read it yet. So, I would say these books are more fantasy than romantasy. The books I showed you earlier, the series, they're definitely romantasy, but again, I think these are just fantasy with romance subplot. Still super good, love it. But this follows Jude and Carden, and they are enemies for now. They are enemies, and this is enemies to lovers, because duh. And Jude is immortal, but she's in the fairy world because her dad cannot turn unalive her parents.
Oh.
Classic, so relatable. Like, you mean you didn't get taken to a fairy world because your fairy father unalived your parents and kidnapped you? Weird. Huh. But anyways, she honestly loves fairy world. She has her oldest sister, which is her dad's real child. So I forgot, Maddox. Maddox isn't her real dad, but he's like, well, I did kill your parents, so I guess I kind of have to take you. And so, yeah. And because her and her sister, so there's three sisters, Vivian, Jude, and Taryn. Taryn. I don't know how to say her name. I don't care to know how to say her name. I don't mess with her. But anyways, the three sisters. Vivian is the only real fairy. So Jude and Taryn have to prove themselves to the fairy world that they can be one of them. Taryn wants to marry into a fairy family, all that. Jude wants to be a soldier. She's like, you know what? No, I don't want to marry. I'm gonna be strong. I'm gonna fight. And so Carden hates her guts because she is everything he should hate and more, and he doesn't hate her. Yes! Yes, 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 yes. And Jude, hates Carden because he's awful. He's an awful person. He's cruel. He's wicked. But she can't help but love him. Yep, yep. I know. Amazing. Love it. I can't wait to read the third book. Okay, but anyways, honeys, that is all for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please click like, and if you want, subscribe. And if you do subscribe, please hit that notification bell. Ding. I love you all so much. Bye. Mwah. Wait. If you're still watching this video, hey, thanks for still watching. I want you to comment down below one of your favorite books and which book interested you the most. Okay, bye for real this time.